This is Vampire Survivors. That was a lie. And if you believed it, I regret to inform you that the only possible explanation is that you have a brain tumor comparable in size to the bowling ball that likely hit you on the head as a small child. This is actually Vampire Survivors. That, too, was a blatant lie. As you can see, this is a game wrought with deceit and trickery. Another example of which being the fact that despite its misleading name, there has yet to be a single actual vampire. But enough about that. Your legacy of mass annihilation all begins with none other than Imelda, a mage-type character, and most definitely not the guy with the whip. The first thing that you will notice upon entering a game is that in this pixel-deficient universe, you are a lesser being than that of the insects. And suddenly, those years of mercilessly trampling, swatting, and otherwise exterminating these obnoxious organisms have yielded unfavorable consequences. That is, until you have managed to scrape together the funds necessary to begin purchasing power-ups. There are many types of power-ups, including, but not limited to, Might, which grants more damage, Armor, which reduces the amount of damage taken on hit, Health Regeneration, which grants luck, and Curse, which grants more enemies, higher enemy health, and higher enemy damage. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, well, now hold it right there, you mentally challenged maniac. How exactly is that last one a power-up? And to that I say, I'll get to that. Just shut the fuck up for a minute. Now, I'm obviously not going to tell you everything about the game, because if I did, it would take fucking forever. So instead, I'm going to give you the bullet points, the synopsis, the meat and potatoes, if you will. After investing in some power-ups and surpassing the great hurdle that is the grasshopper, you may find yourself underwhelmed. But rest assured, as you have yet to even sniff the taint of what this game has to offer. This will be made abundantly clear once you've progressed to the point of unlocking arcanas. But what are arcanas? Well, they're cards that you are able to pick one from at the beginning of the game, as well as at the 11 and 21 minute mark. They can range anywhere from game-changing to so incomprehensibly meaningless that you have no choice but to move so far away that you can brag about it. My favorite of these arcanas is Disco of Gold. It allows you to start gold fevers with bags of change, rather than just that goddamn golden clover. This leads to ludicrous money-making endeavors that supply you a fast lane pass to godhood. And speaking of money and power-ups, let's return to that for a second. After amassing a small fortune in the same way every other exceedingly wealthy individual has, inheriting it from those who came before me and exploiting those less fortunate, I was liberated from the shackles of poverty and free to splurge on all the upgrades one could ever need. This tidal wave of dopamine did not last, however. Upon completing this punch card of power in its entirety, the overwhelming tedium that plagued me so was nigh too much to bear. I was a big fish in a little pond, a bird in a cage, all too small. This, you impatient prick, is where Curse reveals its utility. See, The game can only spawn so many enemies, and you can only kill that many enemies so fast. It was at this point that, according to Japanese folklore, Curse gazed upon this tiresome cycle and proclaimed, nah. Now, those of you with an IQ above 6 have likely already figured out where I'm going with this. But others not blessed with such high intellect may be wondering what merit there is in bolstering the enemy's numbers. And, like most things, the answer to that is money. The more enemies that spawn, the more XP that is dropped. But how does that equate to more money, you ask, drool pooling at the base of your sweat-soaked DX racer? Well, champ, there's this little feature I forgot to mention. Upon maxing out all 6 of your active weapons, as well as all 6 of your passives, you are given the option to receive health or money on level up. See what I'm saying? More XP means more levels, and more levels means more money. But don't get ahead of yourself. Let's not forget that you have yet to reach immortality, and therefore increasing the difficulty actually has consequences. These consequences being the fact that you will die again and again and again. And to whom will you owe most of these deaths? Death. What the fuck were you expecting? Until you either unlock endless mode or make the same discovery as I once did, a weapon that literally makes you invincible. No, I'm not kidding. You will inevitably fall victim to Tax's other half. After overstaying your welcome and reaching the time limit on any given stage, you are met with a seemingly unstoppable force whose mere odor causes all other forms of life to flee from existence entirely. Luckily, before this jackass comes in to tell you you've had enough fun for today, you have plenty of time to add to your mountain of wealth. And with this wealth, you will bankroll your own ascension by purchasing Costco-sized value packs of the most powerful items in the game. Golden eggs. These bad boys are designed specifically with you Sharpie-sniffing, window-licking, sticker-eating retards in mind. And I know you're one of us, because you've made it this far into the video. The function of these eggs is to permanently boost a random stat on the character you purchased it for by an inconceivably small amount. Sounds pretty useless, right? Especially at 10,000 a pop. Except there's no cap whatsoever on how many of these eggs you can buy, and not only that, but some of the random stats that get upgraded lead directly to enhanced monetary gain. As soon as you begin purchasing these things, you enter a scarily addicting and autistic feedback loop where the more money you make, the more eggs you can buy. And the more eggs you can buy, the more money you make. Before you even become aware of the addiction that has been forced upon you, you will find yourself pondering optimal conditions for a gold farm, envisioning the most efficient weapons and passives to get, and playing the game with a primal obsession for wealth. Before long, you will see a significant drop in difficulty, and rather than being satisfied with your trivialization of even the game's most difficult setting, you will yearn to discover just how deep this rabbit hole goes. And you will become a god. You will begin placing restrictions upon yourself so as to spare the very system you are placing this burden upon, and even that will not be enough. You will select the wrong weapon as you think to yourself, how laggy could a game like this possibly be? And you will suffer because of it. And when all is said and done, you will want more. So you will start another game. And as you do, you will think to yourself, this is Vampire Survivors.